What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today for a massive baseball off-season little market deep dive. If you like charts and graphs and you want an old school charts and graphs video, boy, is this one for you. I ran through a bunch of different players and a bunch of different cards, looking at a very zoomed out view to see who has had what movement since basically the season ended. Essentially, what I did was I went back 180 days in market movers and ran a bunch of stuff up and through today to kind of give us a general vibe for who's gone up, who's gone down, who's stayed the same, anything slipping through the cracks, that sort of stuff. So, like, comment, subscribe if you want your own charts and graphs. Link to market movers in the description down below, and a new coupon code for the first month for $1 if you want to check out market movers. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive in because I got a lot of stuff I want to hit on here. This might be a long one. First off, curious, what are you doing with baseball? Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Are you stashing? Who have you been going after? The season's basically here. We're at opening day, so I'm curious on who or what you have been chasing in the comments down below. With that, let's go ahead and dive in. One of the biggest losers in the offseason, and I, quite frankly, was a little surprised by this, but I guess this stuff got pretty overinflated late last season and as the season went on. But by far and away, of the star players, and we're mostly going to focus on the upper crust, a little bit on the prospect side, and a little bit on the mid and upper tier players. Got a nice little mix of everything in this one. But by far and away, the guy that had the worst offseason, Shohei Ohtani. Just going to rip the Band-Aid off. For example, this is his Bowman Chrome auto. Now, he does not have a true first Bowman auto. He's a weird dude when it comes to rookie cards, but this one was a very well-respected card in regards to higher-end products. His Bowman rookie auto, PSA 10, over the last 180 days, so that takes us back to early October, is down 47% from 6,800 to 3,500, basically. Massive drop there. When you look at some of his more common stuff, and once again, the time frame is going to be the same for all these guys except for one player, and we'll talk about that when we get to that. Ohtani's, this is just his generic Topps Chrome stuff. His Refractor, his X-Fractor, his Pink, his Prism, and his Sapphire, which is an upper end card. You can see over here, lots of red. Sapphire is down 25%. The Prism is down 30%. The X-Fractor is down 35%. His regular Refractor is down 25%. The Pink, for whatever reason, only down 6%. So that one's a little interesting there. It's always intriguing when you line all this stuff up together like this and look at it, how weird some of the numbers get. Like, did something slip through the cracks? Is it just weird? Sometimes it's a weird start and end point, which with this, that does not look like the case, but I always like to double check that stuff. You know, if there was not a sale that corresponds directly with everything else, sometimes it throws things off a little bit. But generally speaking, Ohtani basically down 25 to 35% across the board on all his Topps Chrome stuff. I actually am very curious to see what Ohtani does this year. I think there's a decent chance he can come out like gangbusters again, and this stuff shoots right back up. He could struggle, he could get hurt, who knows? But the fact that his stuff has come down so much, I actually kind of like that. That was one of my big takeaways when kind of deep diving into all this stuff. Let's flip the script and look at a guy that has gone up a ton since the season ended. Juan Soto. No surprise here. He ended the season, if I took this graph back a little further, it would be even more up. He obviously had an outstanding last month of the regular season to really juice his prices, and it carried right into the offseason. Right up to the start of the season, his stuff is still climbing for the most part. This is his first Bowman stuff. I separated this out onto its own page. PSA 10, PSA 9, BGS 9.5, all up about 25 to 30%. PSA 10's up 33%. The PSA 9's only up 15%. And the BGS 9.5 is up 26%. I talked about this card a ton over the last year. I would really like to own one at some point in time. I came very close to pulling the trigger on one in Atlanta, and I came very close to pulling the trigger on one after the fact. And what I ended up coming to was I am just going to wait. I'm going to wait and see what happens once we get in season, because as we all know, these guys that get price increases prior to the season starting usually don't live up to the lofty expectations that the hobby puts on them, and their prices creep back down in season. Now, Soto could come out on fire and just wreck shop, and that won't be the case. That 100% could happen. I am willing to take that risk to see what happens. I keep pulling myself back from buying more Soto stuff. I've been looking at his rainbow foil, his first Bowman, and I keep pulling myself back and say, you know what? Let's just sit this one out and wait. I have the 2 pink refractors. I have some other little odds and ends of Soto stuff, but that's where I'm at with that. Let's look at his other stuff. And his other stuff does get a little weird because, as we've talked about on the channel, he does not have a lot of straight rookie refractors. And his Topps paper stuff is a lot of short print stuff just because of the way that he came out in Update Baseball. So same thing here. A little bit different. We see a lot of green, but we do see a little bit of red mixed in, which we'll kind of talk about some of that stuff. 2018 Topps Gold. This is the paper gold, numbered out of 2018, up 20%. The rainbow foil, don't get deceived by this 4% number. There was a very, very low sale at $1,000. These are actually more likely comping at around 1,300-ish. Right prior to recording this video, there were some recent sales. Market Movers just hasn't updated yet to catch it. But this is going to spike back up to, I think like 13 or 1350. But you're looking at least $1,300 probably to snag a rainbow foil, maybe $1250 if you're very, very lucky. But most eBay comps have been sitting right around $1,300 on this card. Do not have one of these, but I have been thinking about trying to track one down. Very low pop on that, only 362. His super short print Gatorade Bath. This is one of the, if you're a big Soto collector, this is one of the cards to have. PSA 10 on this, up 35% to $8,500. And a PSA 10, this is pop 59. There are just not a lot of these. The hands on hips, the regular short print variation, not the super short print, pop 300 on this, goes for around $2,000, also up about 35%. Kind of on par with the rainbow foil in regards to population, but obviously a cool image variation on that one. The Gatorade Bath is probably the most iconic of his 2018 cards. I don't talk about it a ton on the channel because the price point is crazy. You have his base level refractor out of 250, out of Topps Chrome Update. This is only pop 80. This is actually down 10%. There's one running at auction right now. I linked to it on Monday evening. I think it actually ends tonight, Tuesday night. I'm curious at what that one ends at. So this number might be shifting depending on what that one ends at. I think last I looked, it was in the 4K-ish range. But obviously very low population on that. And then the pink refractor, much ballyhooed on the channel, has stayed relatively flat over the offseason, only up 8%. So his super short print stuff and his first Bowmans are doing quite well. Some of the other stuff is slipping through the cracks a little bit, potentially. Once again, I am a little nervous about running out to buy Soto right before the season starts, just because his prices are, generally speaking, up from the end of last season. And that just always makes me a little nervous that there could be a potential quick pullback once these guys don't meet expectations. We see it time and time and time again across all the sports. This is not unique to baseball. Fernando Tatis. Fernando Tatis. Unfortunately, man of the broken wrist, happened late in the offseason, so his stuff's a little weird. All in the red, not surprising, and I think he continues to dip a little bit. This is his Chrome Rookie Auto, just a base Rookie Auto. PSA 10, pop 230 on this one is only down 5%. These don't sell a ton. Very few transactions on these, only 15 over the last 180 days. His regular refractor is down 33%. His X-fractor is down 10%. Pink is down 20%. Prism is down 25%. And then his first Bowman, I just pulled the PSA 10 here, is down about 10% with no recent sales on that one. The last sale was $313. I would expect this to be probably under 4K if one sold now. Once again, the last sale on that was mid-March. I think that might have been right before or right after he actually broke his wrist. I don't remember the exact date on that, but regardless, I would expect that card to come down a little bit as well. I think Tatis continues to slip a little bit as the focus right now is on the start of the season and people are kind of forgetting about him. I do think there's an interesting buying opportunity with him. I've talked about it before, though. You could potentially be looking at a long hold if he comes back and struggles a little bit. That's kind of the risk you take on these guys. I think worst case, you would be stuck holding it all the way to next spring. That's just a long time to hold a card, potentially. Once again, you could have an out if he comes back later in the summer and rakes. His stuff would spike right back up again. Tatis is one of my favorite players, but the guy just can't get out of his own way when it comes to health, and that scares the hell out of me and a lot of other people. If you look at his numbers last year, what he did in the amount of games that he played, it's absolutely ridiculous. Next up, Vlad Guerrero Jr., a personal favorite of mine, not necessarily from a card perspective, just from a baseball player perspective, which has led to me picking up some of his cards as well. We kind of run the gambit here. His stuff has been, generally speaking, creeping up over the offseason. This is just his PSA 10 rookie auto, up 30% over the last 180 days. I think this card would sell for a lot more if his auto wasn't garbage. He is one of the worst autos of the modern guys. Acuna's is really nice. Soto's is really nice. Tatis's, really nice. Bobachet's, really nice. Vlad's sucks. No offense to Vlad. And his dad's also not that great. They definitely take after each other in the auto department. But look at that. Look how bad that is. So I think that actually really hurts that card in general because it's just not a nice looking auto on it at all. That for only $1,400. I think that's a lot higher if that's a clean auto, but up 29%. His base chrome refractor up 26%. Pink refractor basically flat. Prism refractor up slightly at 15%. I pulled the sapphire on this one. Nice looking card. Has been flat. 1,500 was at 1,500 a couple months ago as well. And then his prospect auto, once again, also terrible looking, slightly down. Was 5,500 180 days ago, is down to 4,750 right now. So once again, a little intriguing that this has kind of sunk down, but hold on, I caught myself here. This is why you got to double check this. One has not sold in quite a while. 310 was the last sale on this. This is only pop 76. So whether you could get one at this price right now, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what one would sell for more recently if one went off the board. So keep that in mind when looking at that one. Let's take a little bit of a different path here and look at a couple more established guys that have been around for a while, have some larger cards, but I don't want to say are forgotten about. Mike Trout's obviously not forgotten about, but this is his PSA 10 Topps update. Obviously a monster card for a base card, $3,000 price tag on this one, and it has basically stayed completely flat. When we look at the numbers on this one, up ever so slightly, 6.7%, from 2,800 to just under 3K. So not a major shift there. I personally have never been the biggest Trout fan in the world. I get it. His numbers are insane. He just seems to be falling apart the last couple of years. Personally, if I had $3,000 for a card, there are other places I would rather put it than a Trout 2011 Topps update. But what do I know? And he does have obviously much more rare cards, but they do get extremely pricey, extremely quick. So I always like to look at this one, and I think it kind of just tells a general overall health of the baseball market. But this has basically remained steady over the entire offseason. If I go back prior to this, it had a lot of ups and downs in the season, as he had kind of a really up and down season regarding, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? And it kind of swung his values around quite a bit. But I've just never been a Trout guy. I get it. I get why people are Trout guys. Just not me. I don't know if it's because I wasn't a big card guy back when, Trout was coming up and all the hype built around him, or what it was. I don't know, but I've just never been a big Trout guy. Bryce Harper, and this is one of the ones where I had to do a little bit of a shorter data set just because there was massive gaps in sales on some of his stuff. And I just looked at his Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto. Once again, when you get back on some of this older stuff, it gets a little bit weird. So I just kept it simple here and went with his Bowman Chrome Auto. I've recently picked one of these up. So this is going back just since mid-February. So we're just kind of catching the last little bit. You can still see it's really only a couple sales here. In a PSA 10, this is only pop 100. BGS 95 is actually much higher than that because back when this card came out, that's where most of this stuff went. But generally speaking, he's up about 30% over the last few months. So the latter part of this offseason, his stuff has been creeping up. PSA 10 is up to $1,800. The BGS 95 is up to $1,150. Both dead on 30% increases on those two cards. That does seem like kind of a wide gap between a PSA 10 and a BGS 95, but I guess that's kind of in line with pretty much most things. But generally speaking, Harper stuff is ticking up a little bit. Moving along, Ronald Acuna Jr., man of the torn ACL. And his stuff has been kind of slowly just meh this offseason. Kind of a little surprising. I thought his stuff would be a little bit more hyped. We have a nice little selection here. This is his rookie auto, PSA 10. I had one of these in my possessions for an ever so brief period of time. Last one just sold for $1,725, a 20% increase over the offseason. His base refractor has been flat. His X fractor down 10%. His pink refractor up a little bit, up 27% actually. Kind of surprised that it's separated that much from the regular refractor. The rookie auto refractor at 1850, down 10%. This has always baffled me on this, and perhaps someone in the comments can explain this one to me because it's never made any damn sense. His base rookie auto is pop 168, sells for 1700. His rookie refractor sells for 1850, is pop 88. Now I know low pop doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I would think the refractor should go for a lot more than the base. You know, maybe this is just a me thing, but this one has always baffled me. They've always stayed very close together. I noticed it for that brief period of time when I had the base rookie, that the refractor sold close to what the base rookie went for. And that just never made any sense to me. But what the hell do I know? I just read off charts and graphs. Prism PSA 10 down 52%, a big pullback from that one. This would be one, I wonder if you could actually find one for this price. I didn't go in and dig, but that seems really cheap for a Prism refractor on him. I'd have to do a little bit more digging on that one. I wonder if there was a really high sale to start. Aha. Yes, that's why. This is why you always check this stuff. This is what I was talking about earlier. So the start point on this seems to be a very high sale, which is skewing the entire data set. So if I was running this again, I would rerun these from 1030 and just tweak it a little bit to see where everything resets from there. So it's probably not actually down 52%. The starting point number, that number right there, is probably a little off. And then his Bowman Prospect Auto, his first Bowman Chrome Auto, has been perfectly flat. 5K at the beginning of the offseason, 5K at the end of the offseason. Dead on. But I'm surprised his stuff didn't see more of a run-up. I know his name has been hot, like his stuff has been moving. I don't know if it's just the uncertainty of when he's coming back or what it is, but generally speaking, the Acuna market has stayed relatively flat. That intrigues me. If I'm going to go out and buy a player right before the season starts, I want someone that doesn't have a lot of stuff baked into them already. He has not seen massive gains in the offseason. Not saying that he still couldn't see massive losses once the season starts, but I just feel like it makes it a little less likely. Next up, let's get into a little prospecting here. Bobby Witt Jr. has also seen very strong gains during the offseason. This is his Bowman Chrome Prospect Refractor is up 20%. Bowman Chrome First Auto up 50%. His Refractor Auto also up 50%. $7,000 card on this. Yikes. There is no way. No way. I don't know. I just can't imagine. I can never wrap my head. I talked about this in the video the other day. I just could not imagine wrapping my head around paying $7K for a guy that has never swung a bat in the major leagues yet. It's just baffling to me. And then his just base Prospect Chrome, I just grabbed this just for the hell of it, is up 45%. So once again, as we talked about the other day, if you got into this cheap back at the beginning of the offseason, you can make yourself a nice little profit just selling it right now and not even worrying about what he does in season. Wander Franco, kind of a roller coaster ride with Wander Franco. This is his Chrome just base refractor. This one is up 35%, and you can see nothing too sneaky with starting and end points, because I did double check that one because this one kind of threw a red flag for me. His first Bowman auto, just the base, is down 20%. And then the first prospect chrome, just the base card, is flat, down 3% on the offseason. So the refractor, the mid-range is up a little bit. And then the auto is actually down a little bit here as we are about to start the season. Very interesting to see. Let's see, what was Whit's base auto going for? 3K. Wander's is also 3K. To be honest, if I'm buying one of these two, both at 3K, if you put a gun to my head and said, go buy one, I would buy the Wander. At least I've seen him have a successful part of a major league season and into the playoffs, whereas Whit is still the great unknown. That is the power of the great unknown, how it can drive a price like that, of the hopes, wishes, and dreams of the hobby. Next up, a little bit kind of like the lower tier guys. Some guys I've talked about in the offseason is guys that I like because they're just not very expensive in the grand scheme of things. Bobachet. This is his prospect auto, just the base, up 40%. That's actually had a nice run up. His stuff actually, in some cases, has nice run ups. In other cases, it has not. You'll see that here. This is his base rookie auto. I've been chasing one of these forever and just missed the window on it. This is up to $720, a 30% increase. But so his autos are doing really well. His first Chrome auto, first Bowman Chrome auto is doing really well, and his Topps Chrome rookie auto is doing really well. But his refractors and stuff just haven't moved. This is his base refractor, down 8%, only $115. His X-fractor, $325, up 18%. One is not sold in a while, but that seems in line with everything else. Pink refractor, down 23%, and then the Prism refractor, down 10%. So I find it interesting that his Topps Chrome refractor stuff, of what, pick your flavor, is actually flat to down anywhere from 10 to 20%, but his autos are up 30 to 40%. Well, this is the first time we've seen this, where usually, generally speaking, the entire player's portfolio kind of moves, generally speaking, within maybe 5% either way, in lockstep with everything. This one is the first one I've seen where it is wildly different, where the autos are going up and everything else is just kind of meh. Two more, and then we'll wrap this puppy. Lubob, another guy. Not very expensive in the grand scheme of things compared to some of the other guys that we've talked about. And also just kind of had a meh offseason price-wise. This is his rookie auto. I did not pull his first Bowman stuff. I'm biased. I absolutely hate the picture on his first Bowman Chrome. It's absolutely terrible. It's him sitting in a press conference. I don't know what they were thinking with that card. Base rookie auto, staying flat at 5%, about $675. I missed buying one of these at the Shipshawana show. His base refractor is down 10%, X-fractor down 3%, pink refractor flat, Topps Chrome rookie refractor auto also flat at 0%, and then the Prism refractor down 30%. Another interesting one where his base auto sells for $675. The refractor never mind. Once again, got to check this stuff. There has not been a sale in a while on his base refractor, so I don't know what that would go for right now. Actually, there's only been one sale the entire off season. Only popped 60 on that one, so those aren't shaken loose. Some are listed on eBay, but they're not. They're just a buy it now, and they're at pretty high prices, so that's why you haven't seen any sales on that one. So throw this one out the window. Last but not least, Mr. Devers. Kind of talked about him a bunch of different times in regards to pricing. Kind of put him in line with, I put him above a Lubob and a Bobachet because he's had a couple really nice seasons already, whereas Lubob really hasn't had one yet. He's teased this. Bobachet had a really nice season last year. This is his base PSA 10 rookie auto, only going for $325. Is baffling to me. Tough to find. He's only popped 51, but still, I feel like someone got a steal on that. His base refractor, $185. Once again, just looks out of line when you see this for $185, when you just looked at what Lubob and Bobachet are going for, and then how cheap his rookie auto goes for at $325. Once again, good luck finding one at $325. And then his X-fractor at $305, pink refractor at $165, prism refractor at $210, and then I did pull his sapphire, his Topps Chrome sapphire at $575, up slightly. But generally speaking, he's been kind of meh this offseason. Once again, weird start and end points here on some of these with the big percentages, but generally speaking, I have a soft spot for Devers. Whether or not he turns into anything or not, I don't know. I only own one of his cards, and it's just a base refractor. So that's my little wrap up for a little macro level view at the baseball offseason and what prices have been doing. Curious for your thoughts and comments down below. I know it's been a baseball heavy week, but 'tis the season. We'll catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.